Welcome to another episode of Ruff Talk VR, a weekly podcast with in-depth game reviews, exclusive developer interviews, and the latest MetaQuest and virtual reality news. We join our hosts, the father-son team of D. Scruffles and Stratus today, as they spend another episode breaking down and discussing the world of virtual reality.
Hey, welcome to this episode of Ruff Talk VR. We're coming back at you fresh off of international travel.
Dun, 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 dun.
Ruff Talk VR has gone international, baby.
Well, our big listener base is international, so I'm glad we did.
Yeah, I guess to give some rare insight on the stats, it's split like 50%, US and then 50% international. So
Yeah.
I guess we should take the show.
Didn't expect that.
Take the show on the road a bit. We spent some time in Sweden.
Stockholm,
Sweden, what is now probably my new favorite city. Absolutely beautiful. The roads are
Stunning.
beautiful. They're old. They're historic. The people
people are
all
amazing.
they're all blonde, fit, and
They're all
beautiful.
blonde.
No, they're all blonde, fit, and beautiful. And I don't just mean the women. Like even the dudes are just like stunning human beings. It's like per capita, probably the most like.
You can see the genetic influence in the area.
Mhm.
Definitely. It's like I saw a dude dressed in business clothes. He was a younger kid, and I was like, oh my God, he should be on like the cover of a magazine. He looked like someone drew him. He was that good.
If any of them moved to the United States,
They'd crush it.
male or female, they would all crush it.
They'd want for nothing. They'd live on their beauty. Nah, dude, Sweden was suppose we should shout out a couple of fine peeps that made that happen as well.
Yeah, the Beyond Frames people and the Combat Waffle
Yeah.
team.
I can never
Once
be,
in a lifetime opportunity in my eyes.
can never be more grateful for what they did for us.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly can't, dude. Like I kept trying to think of a way to like summarize it in some words, and it's just grateful.
And the story starts in Stockholm. That's not where it ends, though. So we spent a couple days in Stockholm. We got to visit. Well, we met some of the Combat Waffle team in person. We got to meet in Stockholm Scott and Proper D,
Yep.
which was freaking awesome.
Property is a funny dude, man.
If you as cool as you could think
Holy
that they
crap.
are,
They're cooler in person.
yeah, Scott's the man. Proper D's awesome with his freaking fine proper English British accent.
Oh yeah, no, but
Just a cool dude.
His sense of humor is like home run city for me.
And they're hilarious together. You can tell they're a good
They're
good
a good team. Yeah,
they have very good chemistry. So it was
Yep.
cool to see them.
like
Then
a good vibe.
we got to see some of the Beyond Frames team as well in person.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mava.
Oh my god,
She's a rock star. She's a badass in the industry. So that was wicked cool. We got to see the Beyond Frame studio in person. We also got to go hang out a bit at Resolution Games and Fast Travel Games. At Resolution, got to play a little bit of Spatial Ops. That was cool.
No, that was friggin' dude. That I can't wait for to be able to like show something of it because you were in it to win it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's like that was crazy.
And then at Fast
Breaking a sweat in a big way.
yeah. So we were taking the scooters all over Sweden.
The
Oh,
lines.
sorry, all over Sweden, all over Stockholm.
Yes.
But that started probably
the
on
whole
day
country.
Yeah, that started probably on day 2, day 3. I think day 2 we were taking the scooters. On day 1 with Resolution, we walked there. And we're like the only people who can manage to sweat in Stockholm.
Well, we power walk. That's the problem.
I guess
you were
technically
even,
that
you
was-
were even saying it looking on the map. You're like, I feel like we walk a lot faster than the average because we're literally shaving minutes.
I
You
say
take
da-
a corner, you'd be like, oh, it just went down a minute.
I say day 1 too. Technically that was day 2. We landed the first night and it was like 8 p.m. So I mean like our first full day there. When we woke
We
up
took
and it
the
was daytime.
scooters the first night.
Oh yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did.
Oh yeah, we did.
So
Oopsie.
just putting it out there.
Yeah, we did, huh? Why didn't we take the scooters to Resolution, man?
I think I was to blame for that a little. And because I knew we were going to be late, right? And
Yeah,
we
not
should
only did we walk, break a sweat. Like I said, the only two people to have managed to break a sweat in Stockholm is me and you.
Well, I was overdressed too. I had like the
button up
button
and a
long
hoodie.
sleeve.
I took my hoodie off in what point, like 10,
stepping out like 10 feet,
100 feet down the street. I took off my
but
hoodie.
it was an awesome walk, right?
Yeah,
we saw some shit that we might not have seen.
That's
had
fair.
we not walked. So to me, it was worth it.
But we showed up there a little sweaty.
Yeah.
So then, let alone after I play, I feel bad for their headsets. I'm waiting to get an email where they're like, "Dude,
Here's the bill.
you owe 3 headsets, brother. 3?
What are you gonna do?"
I understand 1."
But
Dude.
it was awesome to visit the studios. Though.
Yeah, beautiful studios. We had some nice fika at, I guess technically both of them. We had some fika at Resolution and fika with Fast Travel.
Yeah.
Some nice talks over at Fast Travel too.
Yeah. Dude, everybody's just awesome. You know what I'm saying? It's like, let's be honest. We talked to a bunch of people. Everybody's awesome. And Eric was out in Sweden.
And then, yeah, besides just the Combat Waffle team and the Beyond Frames team with Mava, we also did see Eric from Q2C, fellow VR podcaster.
Who is mad cool.
Yeah. Above and beyond cool.
Dude, getting to meet people who are I don't care what area of the VR space they're in, but they're usually wicked cool people. And he was just exceptional.
We also did see Todd from their crew as well.
Yeah,
but we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a
on.
few. But out in Sweden, we did see Eric. When we were listening to their podcast the other day too, they did mention that Todd had the opportunity to go to Sweden, but
Correct.
he was scared of the dark side. He was scared of the shadow realm. What might occur? We would have gotten his ass on a scooter. Dude, I have never wanted Meta Ray-Bans more than using the rental scooters in Stockholm.
Yeah, I got the video, but I had to take it risking life and limb of the cell phone.
We were kings of
I
it.
suppose I didn't have to take anything, but I couldn't help myself because I want to remember it.
We used the Lime scooters. I used those when I was in Austin as well. So I was already familiar with it. It was very easy to talk you into it. It was basically all it took was being out late the first night and then needing to get back and you being like, I got to take a pee. And I went, ta-da. And then you were the king of it. Bunny hopping with them.
Yeah, I don't know if I did that.
Yeah, that never happened.
No.
You may have.
I may or may not have not jumped off of things.
Stockholm's designed for it with their bike lanes and stuff like that.
No,
They're so well designed.
Their infrastructure is like, and that's the thing. Sometimes when you visit areas of Europe, you come home and, of course you're happy to be home, blah, blah, blah. You live here.
Best country.
But you get
bald eagle.
You get
give you some freedom.
You get a little
some
pissed.
Red, white, and blue.
You get a little pissed at some of the like, how come we don't have the working infrastructure that almost everywhere you go in Europe does? It exists and it's attached to other countries and it's there's no reason we can't except this far in the game. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like when you're doing a city builder. And like you want to make a change, but you played it so late, you make a new save.
Well, and let's be honest, you
can't rebuild it. You just make a new save.
You do a city builder, and then like you unlock the subway and shit or the railroad. It's always like a mad inconvenience to try to put a really good path without having to knock buildings down. So then you're looking at the reality as to why. We were just a build first type of place, I guess, in America. It's like, just build it, fucking get it up. All these cities just banging everywhere, but the railroad transportation system and it's like, whoa, man. Although a lot of major cities, yes, they have their subways and stuff, but the convenience that it works in Europe is like next level.
Look, it wasn't dangerous at all to electric scooter across the city.
No, and it's not just us. It's not like just tourists and shit. It's like, you see people in business clothes during the work week and they're taking their scooter or the bikes. The electric bikes are also popular.
Yeah, but I'd so much rather the scooter.
Well, that's just personal.
Because that's
a personal preference.
If I'm going to use an electric bike, I'd rather just an actual bike, like a pedal bike.
Because I'll take a moped, a little scooter. Give me a Vespa.
Yeah.
If there had been Vespas, I would have been like in heaven.
But for bicycle, like I don't see the need for it to be electrical. I can just pedal.
I do in Stockholm. Fucking hills, man.
Oh yeah, some of those hills.
Are you kidding me? There's a grade on that. I was actually like, there was a couple we went up and I was shocked the scooters made it up.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this is pretty. On cobblestone too, dude.
My big tip I would give to people is if you use the scooters, don't just do the rent of it, buy the ride pass. Yeah. It's so much so much cheaper. But we had a blast in Stockholm. So we saw,
Dude,
Scott and
saw
Property.
the Nobel museums out there. We saw I got a photo of one of the museums, like their national museum. Saw their government building. Saw the guards. Ate some crazy ass food, which is awesome.
So we saw Scott and Property, who again, as cool as can frickin' be. Scott's the man for putting together everything that we're going to be talking about, in this portion, at least. Scott's the man. Huge shout out to them for giving the opportunities. You look at their team. I mean, we talk to their team once a month over with Tabor Radio. It's all just a bunch of it's not the people with the best resume who came in with this, that. It's just the most talented people. And it translates to just a super cool team. So seeing Scott, Proper D, then Mava from Beyond Frames. She's a rock star. And then we got to see Eric. He's cool as can be. We've seen him around, I guess, in the online realm, but we've never really interacted with him a whole bunch. So it was cool to just meet in person and him be a wicked chill guy. So we spent a couple days in Stockholm, rocked that city, and then from there we flew over to England for a in real life Ghosts of Tabor event.
Secret location too.
Yeah, it was badass to say the least. They put us through again an in real life Ghosts of Tabor experience with these Hollywood quality actors that went above and beyond. We kind of role played through a Tabor market. They had us squad up. They almost separated us from squads. And I said, whoa. Our best chance of survival is with me and this guy together. And they're like, all right, you over there. And it was funny. We got paired up with our German buddy who we bumped into in the elevator in the morning.
Yeah.
And we both looked at each other with that look of I think you're here for the same reason I am, but I'm not sure. And then we ended up spending the whole rest of the day with him by our side. It was awesome.
I think you went by the name Rumble.
Yep. Day Rumble.
Yep.
D.E. Rumble.
Wicked cool. Dude, everybody there was fucking cool, though.
Yep. He said that he had been doing mainly flat screen content and then had just recently got more into the VR side of things. So it was cool. So,
well, before you even continue, we come out of the hotel the morning of, and there's 3 military personnel waiting outside. 2 of them off to the side, just looking all stern. And then one big motherfucker in the background, just sculling us all down. You would even asked, you're like, I don't know if that guy is part of this. And
I think he just might be pissed off that we're all role playing right now.
And he just looks angry at what he sees. But holy crap, he was one intimidating looking dude. And then you walk over to the 2 ghosts that were there, and they just hand you an orange key card.
Oh man, I have it downstairs. And then I'll go grab it before the end of the episode.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's all over socials. We have it. I think we
on
posted
Twitter,
it.
on Twitter, on X.
So we'll just make it more available. So right off the bat, you're and full disclosure, we don't know anything that's going to take place. We just know that we're in for some sort of experience.
Shit's about to get real.
Yep. You got dudes and you got ghosts outside your hotel room. They're handing you key cards. But anyways, so then we're whisked off to a...
Can I actually even go backwards for a second? How about when we're standing outside? Because we got to the hotel in England at what time? 10 p.m. Huge props to England with their public transport system as well.
Works perfect.
Because we landed 3 hours away from airport to hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And was it really hard to ride the train at all?
No.
3 hours?
No, and the
with
train ride...
multiple changes?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. We went train to underground to another underground to train, and then I think that was it.
And then Uber. But it was so easy.
Uber.
It was so easy. Huge shout out to England for a super efficient.
Dude, their train station had a fuck ton.
I'm sure the locals bitch about it too. I'm sure the locals hate it. They're like, "Oh my goodness!" I can just imagine because you know how when you live somewhere, it's the worst.
Anything if there's a delay,
Yeah. Well, it ran to the minute while we were there. So huge shout out to them for their ease of that. I was super jealous. That would be like if we got from here to the border of Vermont or here to all the way deep into New Jersey with ease, with effortless, right? Would you say, or maybe even longer?
I don't. We were on the train for an hour 45.
Total of 3 hours of travel distance.
Then yeah. No, it was like 100 miles.
Mhm.
That's right. It was like 97 miles.
Wicked easy.
Yeah.
Cheap, too. Wicked cheap.
Well, again,
I'm jealous of
it. They, especially in the cities, man, they encourage and they seem to reward taking public transportation. Just like the cost of taking the train in Sweden was not bad at all.
No.
It was like, just jump on it, go 4 or 5 blocks, boom.
45-minute high-speed train, too, from the airport to
What was the name
the
of
center, the Arnada Express.
Arnada Express, yes.
Yeah.
That thing whizzed.
Gone.
No, that was cool.
Yeah.
So anyways.
So we get to the hotel, and Alpha Bro VR, he's one of the mods over at the Ghosts of Tabor team, and he landed. He comes out. Never really interacted with him before besides liking each other's stuff a bit on social media. He gets out and he goes, "Is that the Ruff Talk boys?" And comes over, which is like, how sometimes you land after traveling, you're a little like nervous and shit. He had no hesitation. Went right to it.
Well, look at his name.
Alpha Bro.
Yeah.
He was pretty big too. He was a little big boy.
Wasn't a small kid. Wasn't a small little guy.
So he comes over, gives like the big hug, like you'd known him for like a year or two, which was a common vibe with everybody.
I was gonna say it was almost like a love fest as far as the creators mingling with each other.
Which we'll get to a bit, but
Mr. Grey Wolf gives amazing hugs.
Yeah.
I'll just say that right now.
So even just from the start, bumping into Alpha Bro at this, right at the beginning, I guess that set the tone for the level of friendliness. So yeah, we wake up that morning, we go down to the hotel, and like you said, there's the ghost standing outside, the big freaking burly, intimidating dude out front too. We all get bussed away to our super secret location. We start, they brief us a little bit in their little green room.
Safety protocol.
Yep. What to expect. Like, if anything goes wrong, we got medics here. Nothing's going to go wrong, but, just know you can also...
Maybe a trip.
You can nope out of there if you want. You can always come back to this room, which to me is like setting the tone, like, ooh, this is going to be fun, And then we meet for some tea and coffee before we all die, So we have some nice coffee. I have like 3-4 cups of coffee, because why not? I'm like, these might be my last cups of coffee, Got to put them down. So then we do our little in real life experience where they group us up into groups of 3. They whisk us away into a Tabor market where we all buy gear and stuff like that. And we went full role play with it. I mean, come on, if these guys are going to put in all this effort with their acting, which they were doing a great job with, I can at least meet them in the middle. So me, you, and Day Rumble got paired up, our German buddy from the elevator. And we're being super strategic with like, if you get this gun, I'll get this gun. If I grab the walkie-talkie, you grab this. What did I grab for us? Man, I forget. I think it was the walkie-talkie was what I ended up being the one to take the hit on.
Yeah, I wanted one person to have a bandage, which didn't happen because the hospital said fuck off.
They said if only we have bandages.
Yeah, they were closed that day. And then, but for real, like the lady was like, "Nope, not happening."
This is
Not
like
today.
this is like the Tabor market for anybody that's played.
Yeah,
Ghosts of
just
Tabor.
picture like every vendor you go to is in character for what they're selling and what they're wearing, and even Frenchie stood out because he was just this like French military
Selling the vests.
Oh yeah. So I mean, in my head, I wanted us to each be prepared. So it's like, okay, one radio. If the guy with the radio dies, you got 2 other people that can get the radio. The bandage, which we didn't get, because I figured if somebody gets wounded, then we have the bandage. If somebody else gets wounded, then we're probably not in a good situation anyways, and we're probably gonna fucking die. And then for weapons, we each got the same loadout, which was
some assault rifle. I forget which one.
it was an assault rifle and a pistol. Because I mean, in my head, I'm like, if I have to shoot the gun in close quarters and I have a choice between an assault rifle and a pistol, I'm going to be much more accurate with the pistol. So I wanted that for close range indoor fighting if it came to this. And then we negotiated 6 grenades for $100 each because we bargained with the guy. And that was the thing. You could bargain with them.
Well, I don't know if you could, but we did.
I don't see why you couldn't. We did.
Yeah.
And it worked. So it's a vendor who decides whether we can get away with but that was the level of like dedication and acting to the cause.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I got goosebumps at one point of it.
Well, they had us in a shooting range. I should say that they broke us up into two groups as well. We were in the first group.
Yeah, yes.
And then there was in our group, we had like us.
It was groups within groups.
Yeah.
And a main group.
That's a good point. So we were broken up into squads of 3, but for the event itself, they did 2 different runs of it. So you know, if you follow big on like the VR Twitter scene, you might see like Gamertag was in one, Henry Stockdale from Upload VR.
Miles.
Yep, Miles, VR Mike Oasis. They were all in the second group. We were in the first run of it. So it was like us. I know if I remember correctly, Todd and Eric were in our group.
Yeah, because Todd had the 360 cam.
Yep,
which looked like an antenna.
The Grey Wolves, which I need to go back now. Oh my goodness, I know I'm all over the place, but it was an exciting trip to say the least. In the hotel, the same night that we saw, or the night before, the same night we saw Alpha Bro, dude, we bumped into the Grey Wolves.
Yep.
Mr. and Mrs. Grey Wolf, I'll say. Both of them. And both, the second you see them, it's like you've known them for like 5 years. They come over, they give the big brother hug.
They're so genuine.
Yeah.
Like, but that's the thing. Everybody I met at this event was like 100% authentic.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see anybody trying. It's just everybody was just themselves. Everybody shares common interest, whether it be Ghosts of Tabor or just the VR space in general. So it was very unique, like really unique. All different platforms being represented, flat screen being represented. I mean,
and not a single bad personality there.
The energy drink.
Yeah, the glitch energy people were
there. I mean, it was just such a unique gathering of individuals, but it was harmonic. It was friggin' awesome. There wasn't a person there that wasn't like just smiling and you weren't having a bad day during this event.
No, all wicked cool people. So yeah, we went through this event, and at one point they had a shooting, at a shooting range, and it was funny. There was a funny moment where Tribe, where he was shooting and his magazine fell out. That was an awesome moment. But he ended up getting his shots off in the end.
You heard what the gun master said there, right?
Was he like, get out of here or something? I forgot.
He's like, you fucking broke it.
Yeah.
It's broken. It's fucking broken.
So we got to shoot two different guns, all blanks though.
Yeah, we weren't shooting live rounds.
No, all blanks. But that was nice.
So they said.
That was cool. And then after we're all done shooting, timed brilliantly, these guys propel down from the ceiling and start lighting us up with blanks.
Did they come? They didn't come down through the ceiling for the first one, did they?
I think it was for the shooting range.
I thought they came through the door.
Maybe it was through the door for the first run and down the window.
Because I saw them rappelling down one of the hallways.
Okay, I think it was the second one then. Sorry, yeah. It was a lot. I don't have footage of it in the moment too. So
I'll never forget what happened.
It was cool. It was wicked cool. So I'm in character from the market. Once I saw these actors, like the level of effort that they're putting in, to me it would be boring if I'm like, yeah, dude, I know there's no money on this. Just like, you got to play it up too. So I know they're shooting blanks, but yeah, I'm going to drop to the floor. I'm going to hide. I'm going to go with the show. That's the fun of it. So I hear there's bullets go off. I freaking boop right to the ground in a second. Then they whisk us away to some rooms. There's a reporter with us. Remember, I think the name was TNN.
I don't think TNN's a real thing. So I think it was like CN something.
Yeah, it was something.
CNT
it was some play.
Oh, I hope it was CNT. I just put that together if it was, but whatever.
I forget what it was. Somebody has footage of it.
Crushed it. Her acting was good.
Yeah.
Dude.
Should I give full spoilers on it? Because I feel like the whole event's been posted, right?
Yeah, and it's going to continue to get posted.
Yeah. So then, we have to breach through a door. Alpha Bro volunteers to go through it.
Just to peek in.
Take
a look-ski.
Because so after we go all through the market, they're like, all right, we'll give you all this stuff back in the green room after, right? So then we all go to meet after we all get lit up with gunfire. then the big guy comes from before.
Well, it became a situation of us getting ready to
go freaking
go to battle, to like us having to be ghost escorted into different areas because we didn't have our weapons yet. There was going to be a 20-minute delay between purchase and delivery.
Correct. After you purchase the gun, they're like, okay, we're gonna give this to you in the green room in 20 minutes. So yeah, then we get lit up. These guys come down, either come forward or come down from the ceiling, light us up. We get whisked away to this room with this big Ruski guy, who was, I don't want to say the best actor of it because they were all 10 out of 10, but he crushed his role from accent to ad-libbing words. He did a good job.
I can say I never spoke to him to know what his actual voice sounded like, but I'll tell you what, man, there's a part and he was funny as shit too. Just a big imposing motherfucker. But when he was telling his second in command something that he wanted him to do, and the guy was like kind of refusing because he didn't want to risk losing his men because of us. And he's like, I'm not telling you, I'm ordering you. You need to take these people and get us to a safe area. I think that's what he was saying. And the guy's like, I regretfully decline, sir. I'm not going to risk the safety of my men. And he fucking grabs him by the shirt and jacks him all around and then picks up a big revolver and puts it right to his face. And he's, like telling him right then and there, I'll fucking kill you where you stand. That was a pretty intense scene.
They did and to see it 10 feet away from you.
Dude, like you said earlier, the acting was on point. When the reporter got injured and she's screaming, at first I was like, oh, that's pretty good. And then they got like the blood going and she's screaming in pain. Yeah, she sold pain and getting shot perfectly.
Yeah. So we get whisked away into this room with
Holy crap. Got my adrenaline going.
The big Ruski guy, and he's sitting us there. So we got helmets, we got vests, we thought we were going to get guns, but we have all this freaking, military looking gear. And he goes, and we were buying it on the key cards that they gave us in the beginning, the Ghosts of Tabor orange key card. And he goes, that's what you guys have? This plastic shit? He's like, that shit's not going to keep you alive. You guys are all going to die. He's like, you guys need to get real stuff. I'm going to send you into this other shop and I'm going to get you real stuff because what they just sold you, that was a ripoff. You better hope that you still have credits left, So then we go into this other room. Well, 4 of us get picked, me and a couple other people. We get whisked away into this other shop. I don't know what's going on in the other room, actually, while I was away. I only know what went on in the shop. And, he's like, all right, let me sell you the good stuff. And he starts scanning our key cards. And he's like, there's no money on this. This is fake. You guys have nothing. He's like, come back to me when you guys get real money. And he took our key cards and he threw them across the room. And then back into the main room where you all were, because we got whisked away into this little side room. And I saw you instantly look at me and go, get that.
You better get your key card, dude.
Yeah, which I did on my way out.
Yeah, I'm going home with this key card one way or another.
Mm-hmm. You better believe it. And I don't think anybody else that got their key card picked it up. I hope so, though. Maybe they did, because I doubt they saw me pick up mine. So it's probably that same thing. But I was like, I'm not going home without this. So yeah, then we get kicked out of that shop. So then the big Russian actor, or Ruski pretending to be actor, he's like, all right, we need to get you guys money to get real guns to get out of the situation. I heard there's a vault of cash somewhere. And then that's when he was telling us to go with the commander, who was defiant. Mm-hmm. And they got in that little back and forth, yelling at each other like you described, where he threatened to kill him and stuff. So then we're getting navigated through. People keep coming over. Every time we turn, somebody comes out and tries to shoot at us. And then it fast forward to the scene with Alpha Bro needing to breach through the door. He peeks through, takes a look. It's clear. We all go in. And then we hear gunfire. And then it's the scene that you were describing where the reporter got shot. And like you said.
Yeah.
No, keep on.
Oh, no, because I think she was defiant and went back in.
After she wasn't supposed to.
Yeah.
Correct.
She was doing reporter shit and wanting to get the footage and get the story, and they
Of
were
the
telling
vault.
her like, you can't go back in there, and she was obviously not going to listen to rules, but got her ass shot because of it.
And she sold it. She sold it real good.
I'll tell you what, man, there's something really undescribable about doing one thing. Like, let's be honest, did you think in a million years that we would be at the shooting range and then seconds later, like, boom, there's dudes busting through the bed? Maybe they did drop out of the ceiling in there, in that room. I don't know. All I saw was dudes in black and fucking they were shooting guns like 25, 30 feet from us. And then our side is shooting fucking guns back, and people are yelling, "Get down, get down, get down." And, you know, being grabbed by the back and whisked away with that same energy.
We have the goggles on.
They were pretty adamant about if you don't wear ear and eye protection, well, you know, in the serious note, it's like they weren't there to blow. Because these are, you know, you take those earmuffs off.
It's loud.
Yeah, you're going to be hearing a ringing in your ear for the next 24 hours, which is usually what happens. But the sense of realism that they brought to it around every corner and making you really feel part of it with like the going to the shop and buying the stuff.
The selling you on it. They stayed in character the whole time.
Dude, I was invested from start to finish. It was an incredible freaking experience.
You know, I bumped into the big actor after upstairs because I went looking for him just to say, "Hey, good job, man." And he paused for a second before his response and responded in character, which meant to him, he's not breaking that character in front of anybody for the whole day.
No, he did so good at that scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, but everyone that took part in the experience just crushed it. And they sold me on it. Again, I there were parts that got me like, you know, I know nothing bad's going to really happen to anybody, but that something about that girl screaming and then she didn't stop.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh my God. And this is how it would be. It's like, it's not like someone's going to get shot and be like, oh,
and
pardon me, I'm
the
gonna take
chaoticness
5.
of it.
Yeah,
too.
and you got gunfire going and explosions, and then going down the hallway, and you see the two dudes dropping down in ropes, and instantly start shooting, and then more gunfire from our side. And the level of detail and thought they put into the whole thing, because when we were in the room with the big Russian guy, whatever, they had a whiteboard. And when he had called in to want to know like casualties and all this, he went and marked down how many of the enemy were killed. And there was like, you know, over 12 that were notched on the board. But even the other stuff written on the board all had something to do with what was going on with the, it was incredible, dude.
When we finish it, you know, we finally get rushed out of the last room and it's all done. Scott's just sitting there.
Basically went back to the safe house.
Clapping. That must have been so cool for him to see go smooth. Hats off to Scott, man. A lot of people talk the talk. Very few walk the walk.
I can't even imagine.
To bring creators like us out to Stockholm, and
there were like 30. I think about 30 creators.
Not to Stockholm.
Yeah.
30,
no. 30
to bring people to
just say at the event.
Yeah. But to bring us to Stockholm and then to bring, like you said, about like 30 creators over to the UK, which granted, the second group that came was like mostly UK folk already, but the first group was all people like flown in.
Yeah, dude. I just still can't believe it.
The amount of work that goes into planning something like that with that top level of actors too.
There was a lot of production.
That's no joke.
You're looking at, you know, over 20 different scenes.
And then the logistical planning of all the different hotels, the flights, the train travels, all that. Come on, man.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. It's
hats off to everybody involved. Mava, Jim.
We'll forever
Callum.
be grateful for the entire experience.
Mm-hmm. Hats off to Scott for putting it all together.
Mm-hmm.
The Combat Waffle team, Proper D, we got to see. Then we got to see Z-Storm. Then we got to see Soul. Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
No, I'll never forget it.
We got to see, oh my goodness, how did we not really say it? We got to see our boy Henry Stockdale upload VR.
No, you said it a little bit. You like slid it in.
Mm-hmm. but it was good to see him in person.
He's a cool dude.
Yeah, then we got to see, like
everybody was a cool dude.
Like we said before, we got to see Gamertag. We got to see VR Mike Oasis.
Yeah.
Got to see Miles again. We met Miles.
In Boston.
Yep. From the PSVR Parole. Now he's part of Impact Reality as well, too.
He's cool, man.
Yeah, Miles is good people.
It's a cool dude.
Too many
Again,
cool people.
I just, every name
Alpha
you mentioned,
Bro,
I'm like,
Redrum.
Like every single person
Rumble,
we met was freaking awesome.
They Rumble, I mean. Who else did we meet?
Crazy Viking.
Oh, yeah. I mentioned before, but again, shout out the Grey Wolves. Wicked cool people. As cool as can be. I feel like we're missing somebody. Definitely are. But everybody there, if I'm missing anyone, it's too many people to name. They were all freaking awesome. Not a single bad person at the event.
Mm-mm.
It was just cool to be able to meet all those people in person.
Well put together.
Yep. And unfortunately, now I'm in love with the city of Stockholm.
Yeah, it's
beautiful.
It's a problem.
It's a beautiful, beautiful city. So that was our week. That was our little hiatus. I hope you enjoyed the interviews that occurred in our absence that we had with Ryan Rutherford and then Ryan Rutherford from Dungeons of Eternity. If you didn't check out that was an awesome interview. And then so was our interview with Brian and Connor from Ventures Gauntlet, kind of VR obstacle course. So 2 good interviews in our absence. And already we have 2 great interviews coming later this week, too.
Mm-hmm.
An interview with Asim, the lead marketing director for Peridot from Niantic, the studio that brought you, obviously, Peridot and their new app, Hello Dot, on the MetaQuest. But, dude, that's the studio that made Pokemon Go.
Which, yes, I did download it. Yes, I did play it.
Peridot.
On both Hello Dot I downloaded because I was given stink about not.
And the mobile version.
Yep.
The phone app version.
Got some both.
So
got my little dude.
That was a great interview. We have that dropping tomorrow, actually, on Tuesday. And then on Thursday, we have what might be one of Asim was a great interview as well. He's up there. And then I think this might be in my top 5 favorite interviews, our upcoming interview with Dave from Underdogs. Dude, from the One Hamza team.
Yeah.
We told Dave we were going to be with him for an hour. An hour and a half later, I'm wrapping it up like man, I still want to keep going.
That was a fast hour and a half.
So we have that dropping on Thursday. So Tuesday, we have Asim from Hello Dot, from Peridot, Niantic, baby, come on. And then we have Dave from One Hamza, the studio that made
Which we
Underdog.
do not pronounce correctly.
Nope, and I'm not even going to try because I feel like it's actually going to sound worse if I try to pronounce it.
But you'll hear how to properly pronounce it.
That's a fun interview. So huge week coming up. And then on to the VR news. A huge one that came out this past week was Walkabout Mini Golf. Those crazy freaking coconuts, the mighty coconut team, for free. They put out a huge new update remastering the classic Cherry Blossom course. One of the original courses that came out in Walkabout Mini Golf before they did any DLCs or anything. And they went back and did a full free remaster for it. You don't need to buy a DLC, nothing. Boom. The course is now just new and improved. And also, they launched multiple new game modes, which I love. So they launched the ability to do a race mode, which doesn't matter the amount of strokes, doesn't matter anything. It's just the first to make it in, all the holes to the last hole, just boom, 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 just rush through it, da-da-da, go crazy. We haven't really checked out the race mode yet. But then they also put out our new, at least my new favorite game mode, the simultaneous mode.
Go ahead.
No, you please.
I was gonna say that's the one that I always wish they had, just for time of play, because you get a full house in there and you're gonna be there a while waiting for everybody to play. So I'm like, I just wish it always had the ability to simultaneously play at the same time.
Which, yeah, is exactly how it sounds. Yep. You don't need to wait turns for each other to go. You can both, boom, go through it. You can even move to the next hole without the next person.
You can finish the course.
And then go back and wait for them.
One.
Yeah. And honestly, how much faster did it make the games?
Well, duh.
Dude, it was awesome.
It has no choice. That's why I was like, to play with, I love playing Walkabout, but sometimes my only beef is I don't have the time I don't have an hour to spend playing.
We were going through it in like, what, 20 minutes? Not even 17, 18 minutes?
Second time we speed ran it.
Dude, it was crazy.
So you could do it with a group of 3 or 4 and it'd be like 15, 20 minutes tops.
And I think I had my best ever comeback ever playing Walkabout.
I was there. I seen it.
Where I was above par. I mean, I was under par technically, right? So I'm doing
severely
good.
too.
Well, and then I did bad on like 2 or 3 holes, and I was at the biggest. I was like a +8 deficit, and you could hear me going from excited that I was going to be under par to like being so bummed. Like I was like, man, I don't even want to talk about it. I'm so like obviously I still want to talk about Walkabout on the podcast. That's not what I mean. I mean like I don't even want to talk about this game, this round right now. This round, I don't want to talk about this round. I was like, this is terrible. I went from doing good, now it's going so bad, and I ended up under par by the end by -1.
Yeah, she pulled it off, dude.
In the last hole.
The last hole is a like par 7,
par 8, I think.
Par 8.
And I did it crazy good too. I like skipped over a bunch. I got it in like 3 or something like that.
You got an albatross on it.
Yeah, I needed that.
Yep.
And it got me under. I was like, no way.
Under by 1.
So we had a blast with it, both in the regular and the hard mode.
And I hate to say it, but I'll say it. I don't remember.
We should have went right back in.
I don't remember wholeheartedly what it looked like prior to any visual update.
Any remaster.
So I still think it's beautiful. I had no problem before, so it's not like I went in there and was like, holy crap.
Yeah, we should have gotten in right before.
I went in there and was like, okay, it looks beautiful, but I think it looked beautiful before, if I remember correctly. I've never had an issue with any.
It looked really beautiful. The cherry blossoms and stuff, all the trees, it was beautiful. So and then they also had a couple different shooting, who goes first besides simultaneous, besides the classic, who got the lowest par. They have a new one where it's whoever's the farthest away from the hole goes next on the next shot. But simultaneous is how I'm always going to play now.
5 my way.
It goes from the number of people you play with, each person exponentially increasing your play time, to now it's the same amount of time for 10 people to go as it is 1, right?
Yeah, well, you'll only be as slow as your slowest player.
But if all are going, I mean, think.
Because there was shots that I watched you make without having to play.
Mm-hmm.
So it still doesn't, you're not forced to.
No, you can still take your time. You can still go one at a time if you want.
There's certain holes I want to see how someone's going to play it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to sit there and play while they're playing.
No, I had a great time with it. Simultaneous is the way to go with it. So huge props to Mighty Coconut putting out a huge free update.
That's a big one.
Remastering a classic course and adding a bunch of new content and free game modes. Huge stuff. Those crazy coconuts. And then also Zero Caliber 2, baby. The developers gave us an early access to really what's the current state of the full game.
Mm-hmm.
And, said, hey, you guys can talk about it. You can show footage, have fun. No embargoes, nothing. And when you hear that early out, of course, and they gave a full list of like, this isn't done yet. This isn't done yet. This isn't done yet. This isn't done yet. And if you wouldn't know, it all looks beautiful. And, when a game studio is giving their game out that early and just saying you can talk about it, even though it's not finished yet, it's going to be good because they have the utmost confidence with it. When a studio's not letting anybody get access to it till the day of release, that's when you have concern, because they know if people get access to it, it's probably not going to go good. This is the opposite with the X-Real Games. They're like a great studio too, out of Budapest, Hungary. Nice little soft spot in my heart with that as well. They're like, dude, they know that they have a potential Game of the Year candidate in their hands. So they're props to them for just giving it out to people and saying go crazy. But we're probably 4 levels into the co-op campaign?
Yeah, I think so.
And it's funny, of all the things that's not done yet in it, haptic support works in it.
Yeah, no, dude, and I can't wait to see it in its finished form. But I'm not disappointed with anything in its current form.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, holy shit, it's holding its own, in my opinion. So I'm excited that we've been able to play it, but probably more excited to see what, if anything, they're really changing. But I saw the list of things that aren't complete, and I was looking at some of those things, and I was like, they look great already.
Yeah, you're like, how is that not done?
So I'm really excited to see this end project. But
I was just laughing that B haptic support is already included because, like, of all the things to not, you would think that would be like the sprinkle on top, but for that to already be in, that means that, to me, that means the developers wanted to play with it while they were play testing it and stuff.
yeah, you gotta make sure it works.
And the B haptic support is nice. I will pivot real quick and say that through the MetaQuest creator program, we did get a tack suit, a B haptics tack suit X40. We had an X16 before. Now we each got an X40.
Game changer.
And to play Zero Caliber 2 with that one, it's like the perfect game for it.
Oh my god, dude! Especially because of the length. I
Yeah.
like the length of it. I feel more like a
We had the
bodysuit
X16. It was like kind of like a belly button vest, right?
Yeah.
The X40, man, that covers like the full body. And you can stretch it out real nice and everything like that. Sorry to interrupt you there, too.
Oh, it's all good.
So we go into Zero Caliber. We do like a little tutorial with it, which instantly you go in and you're like, graphically, it's freaking stunning. The sound score is nice, but by the end of the tutorial, you're freaking screaming into the party chat with me. You're like, this thing is, you're going to love it. You're going into vehicles. There's explosions. It's freaking awesome. And then we go into the co-op from there, and we're just having a blast. I don't want to give too much spoilers.
No, so far, I mean, I'm hard pressed to think how this game's not going to just crush it. So I think people are in for an exciting really visually exciting, gameplay exciting, but I think they're in for a really good time.
Don't you feel like it could come out in its state right now today?
Yeah, that's what I was saying when we were playing it. I'm like, I don't get it, man. I had to relook at the list of shit, and I'm like, looks good to me, but it shows you how like small my brain works. But I also know that developers can be like ultra focused on shit. So if like it doesn't meet their stand, like, no, it's got to look better than that. But damn, dude, for where it's at right now, I haven't seen any issue that made me go, eh. I'm like, graphically, it looks fucking good. The gameplay's smooth.
Co-op's working good.
Things are working. There's a little learning curve with shit, which we can get into at a later time with certain functions of stuff. But
It's still early, though.
exactly,
The game's not even out.
Thank you. I can't say shit.
Yeah. The game's... and honestly, I didn't have any bugs, any disconnects, or
No.
anything like that.
No,
We couldn't join a multiplayer together, and then you needed to update.
it was just because of an update.
That makes total sense. We didn't
So,
try the
no.
PvP yet, though. We did the tutorial and like 3 or 4 co-op missions.
But I wouldn't expect PvP to be exactly like loaded with,
No.
like going into contractors prior to
And it's
contractor weekends.
It's just our personal play style too. With Zero Caliber 1, I don't think we ever did the online PvP. We did it for the co-op campaign.
No, I thought we did just to try it. I thought we did once.
I just remember that game. What I loved about it was, to my knowledge, the only co-op campaign shooter. I can't think of another shooter with a co-op campaign in it. Like that type of shooter, the military shooter, the kind of Call of Duty-esque game.
I have one, and I can't. But I might be mixing 2 different games into one.
You have Medal of Honor for single-player campaign.
Yeah, not for co-op, though.
And I think Zero
what was
Caliber
the one?
had a...
Was it Zero Caliber that had the helicopter scene where you're inside the helicopter shooting at the buildings?
It might have been.
And they had the power, like,
I
they had the
think so.
president
Yeah.
there.
That might have been Crisis Brigade.
All right. So one could
It
argue.
might have been.
One could
Or it
argue
could have been Zero
Crisis Brigade,
Caliber.
because that was a co-op.
Yeah.
But
That's why I like that
nothing-
Call of
but
Duty-esque.
Nothing like this one, dude.
No.
Graphics are really
The
fucking
sound
good.
score, the explosions, like when shit's going down even in the tutorial.
Yeah.
You were freaking out in the party chat, like,
It
dude,
was awesome.
you were like, you're gonna love, because you were a little
Yeah.
bit ahead of me. You were like, dude, you have no idea. They did a good job.
When I got into the truck,
Yeah.
I was like, all right, this is cool.
Hey, how about using a truck together when we're both in different seats? Like you were in the top turn, right? And I was in the and I was in the passenger seat and the front seat.
Had a beast of a gun.
Dude, that's a potential top game of the year. When that drops, it's going to be a top game of the year.
Let's see.
So if you can wish
I
list
put it
Zero
up there for
Caliber,
sure.
if you can, I don't know if pre-orders or anything are live. Whatever they do, that's a day one grab.
Whatever they offer you, take it.
That's a day one.
Oh, no, 100%.
I remember I was even
100%.
saying to you, I was like, what are they going to charge? 40, 50? It's worth it. Buy it.
Doesn't matter.
That one, I'm so excited to keep playing the story. Again, we're only like 3 or 4 missions into the co-op campaign.
Yeah.
We got access while we were away, which we did bring our quest with us.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Played a little bit.
not enough.
Just to try to fall asleep.
Didn't have good enough Wi-Fi to like download stuff. Just play some Mother Gunship and some Demio. Mother Gunship kept me awake though.
Which I played Demio kind of laying down almost. And
Yeah.
Turned the table upside down. Only downside was because of gravity, you throw the dice and or the die, so it falls straight down.
We did Demio co-location too.
Mm-hmm.
But we would be farther in Zero Caliber if we started earlier. But we just started when we got back from our trip.
Yeah.
So, but Zero Caliber 2 so far, man, like I keep saying, potential game of the year, if you ask me.
Too early for me to make that prediction on any game right now.
I feel
There's some games coming out that might be able to take that, but we'll see.
The
depending
graphics
when
on
they're
it,
released.
the sound score on it, the gameplay in it. It's so fun, dude.
It's great, but I cannot
I feel it. It's
put
good.
any sort of
If I was a betting man, it would be in the list of nominees.
in June.
If I was a betting man, it'll be in the final list. I'm not saying it'll win game of the year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying I think it's going to be one of the best this year.
Very well could be.
Yeah. And with the B haptic support, man, it was freaking nice using those.
But I do see some other games coming that are gonna definitely contend.
So huge shout out again to the MetaQuest Creator Program for scoring us those B haptics X40 tack suits. Those are freaking nice. And huge props to X-Real Games for giving us early access to Zero
far, I'm
Caliber
loving
2.
it.
Maybe you'll hear us talk some more next week about it even more as we continue through the campaign. But like I said, we're still pretty early into it, and it only seems to be getting better. And then we got access to Neon Squad Tactics as well through the MetaQuest Creator Program. So huge shout out to them. And Neon Squad Tactics is like a psychedelic, futuristic, top-down board game, kind of like Demio on acid, but it's wicked fun. There's classes that you can unlock, different perks and upgrades for it. I'm trying to think of where to even start with it. You have like a wall with different classes to choose from. That's where you pick your different characters, I guess you could say. And on there you can spend money to unlock different cards and stuff that you use in battle, like a gun, could be a grenade, could be a healing syringe, and they all have different ranges and different damage amounts. So you kind of pimp out your character with loadout, choose which character you want. Each person can choose 2 characters, and you go into a turn-based board game through a level. And it's a good time. I'm trying to think of how else to describe it.
It's strategy. It's unique in its own right, with especially how you use your abilities.
Like I said, Demio on acid.
Yeah, Demio is in a league of its own to me, because the level of detail in Demio is like, and this game graphically looks good. It kind of reminds me of the one where you're the little ship and you can help shoot.
Oh, Iron
tower
Guard.
defense. Yeah, it's like that Iron Guard type graphics. Where Demio to me has got that real, how's this? When I picked up the piece where your character, I looked underneath it to see if there was anything there, and it's just like that level of detail that Demio brings is, to me, it's like just next level.
What I do like about this game actually over Demio, though, I will say that Demio doesn't have is being able to upgrade your character after. That's huge.
No, but Demio gives you the ability to buy the cards with your different abilities
in between rounds,
where these are, yeah. Oh yeah. No, I get what you're saying.
Not permanent. These are permanent upgrades, though.
Yeah.
So your character does
Skill
get better
because you get the character skill tree there. But then I question, well, what happens when you unlock them all? Because I'll tell you right now, both my characters that I use, I have them armed with the longest range weapon I can get, which I think is a 7 or 8. So I'm probably never going to deviate from that, and I'm almost all unlocked with
Your class?
My class. So now I've bought another class just to unlock those abilities.
I think when you level up your class too, I think it gives you new.
Yeah, I'm level 2 or 3 on one of the classes. So I'm concerned, like, what's going to happen when my dude's all maxed out? Am I still going to be using the same guns I'm using now?
Good question.
Yeah, but the gameplay's good. It's fun. We're having a blast because it's co-op.
Mm-hmm. You pick your 2 characters, you place them on the board. You can do different little, like, make the game easier or harder to increase your reward amounts. You go into the level you select, you pick the difficulty, which we always do it easy, medium and hard before we advance to the next level
3 times.
Yeah. Hey, why not? That's what we did in Gods of Gravity too. I think that's the best way to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like Demio of like find the key and get the exit. It's just go in there and kill everyone. There's like waves of people that come. It's cool though. There's like different spots you can move to that give you extra damage protection. And you really if you move out in the open, everybody's going to shoot you. It's all about line of sight and such. So you really have to be strategic with your moves and such. Everybody gets 2 turns per character. So there's a lot of strategy in it. There's a lot of cooperation required. I'm having a blast with it. And then after you kill everyone, then you get gold and something, I think they call them shares. And the shares are what you use to buy new classes. And the gold is what you use to buy upgrades, new items to equip to your person within that class. So it's pretty simple concept, but it's fun. I'm having a blast with it. I'm going to keep playing for sure.
Yeah, I've been doing both the co-op and the single player.
And then
selfishly.
So we got Neon Squad Tactics through the MetaQuest Creator Program. And then also through the MetaQuest Creator Program, we got Taskmaster VR, which I'm having a freaking blast with as well. So far, I'll be honest with you, I've only done the first season. I'm not somebody that's ever played Taskmaster. So.
Oh, I think it's a TV show.
I was going to say I
don't think it's a home game at all.
It's I never played. Thank you for the correction there. I've never watched Taskmaster. Yeah. It's a TV show. It's a very popular one in the UK, but Shoes was saying that, I forget who, somebody he knows got very into it as well. Maybe himself. Frick, who was it? Shout out to Shoes too, just to deviate real quick. He posted on Reddit a coupon that he found for Max Mustard inside of Richie's Plank Experience. They gave a hint about it, and if you stuck your head into the elevator in Max Mustard through the door or something like that, it revealed a coupon for 90% off Max Mustard.
It wasn't through a TV set?
Or through a TV set, that's right. But they didn't tell you how to find the code. They alluded to it, and it was Shoes' I don't know what would compel him to stick his head through a TV in VR, but he's the guy that decided to do it.
Because he's good at puzzle games.
Yeah, that's why. And then he saw the code, and he posted it on Reddit, and it went ablaze. I saw that same picture that he posted on Reddit. I saw all the big content creators posting it. I saw it in every VR group on Facebook that I was in. I saw it all over Twitter. Of course, no credit to Shoes at any point in that. But Shoes started a fire. He lit the whole Amazon on fire with that one. He really started a fire. And Max Mustard hit #1 on the top selling charts.
Their plan worked.
Yeah.
Which was to, I'm guessing, see what would happen if they did. And it fucking worked.
I even messaged him and I was like, Shoes, just for my own curiosity, where'd you find where'd you find that code? He was like, it was in the game. I posted on Reddit. The developer, it was Richie. He commented and said it's fine.
Yeah.
I'm sure he had no problem when he was seeing the amount of sales it was getting. They're top selling, dude. #1. Max Mustard's a great game that didn't really get the credit it deserves, so I'm glad to see that.
Well, it's in the hands of thousands of more people for it to get the bump.
And then, again, through the MetaQuest Creator Program, we also got access to Taskmaster, like I was saying before, based off of the TV show. And for being only a season in so far, having not watched the TV show before, I'm actually having a really good time with it.
Well, it's got that puzzle-esque type vibe going on, so I'm just like you. I just finished season 1. I'm excited to
terrible on all of them.
Really?
On the first 3, yeah. So the first one was making the sandwich. I messed that up. I don't want to say how, because if I say how,
I got 0 points on the first one.
Yep. And then the second one was the puzzle with the dog food.
I got 5 points on that one.
Yep. I ran out of time on that one because I'm pretty sure I was done with the puzzle. I couldn't find the bell to turn it in, though, or anything. I'm guessing if it didn't automatically finish, then I didn't do it right. Yeah, that was a struggle. And then the last one was throwing the watermelons into the thing, into the moving thing. How'd you do on that one?
1 point.
Yeah, I did terrible on that one. They were pretty mean to me, too.
I found out, like, at Watermelon 7 that instead of throwing it overhand,
I started underhand.
Underhand tossing is the best way to
in,
lob them.
I got in 0, so it didn't do any better for me, clearly.
I knocked down
2 pins.
3 or 4 pins in the process.
I knocked down 2
but if
pins.
you were knocking down pins, then you were close.
On one shot, I knocked down 2 pins.
So
On
just
one
a
shot
little
out
harder,
of 10.
little harder at that same area where it passes by, and you probably would have gotten it on it.
But
I only got 1 point.
But the first level where they have you make a sandwich, you have to make a sandwich with just spatulas in your hand. Like, you have to do everything with spatulas. And not everything's right in front of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to get stuff.
Oh, dude, I was dying laughing.
So that was fun. That was silly. I mean, they did a good job with it. I'll keep playing.
So far, I'm liking it.
I want to replay the missions in level 1 and episode 1 so I can...
Just because you know what you're supposed to do now.
Is it season 1 or episode 1? I think it's episode 1 is what they call it. Like, you do 3 tasks per episode, but it allows you to go back and replay each individual task.
Yeah. You get a little trophy room.
I hope I get the banter of it being positive of a win if I do good, because, man, they were pretty mean to me. The big guy, the Taskmaster.
Yeah, it makes me want to watch the show just
little
to
guy.
see if he's an asshole. Dude, he's mean to the little guy.
The little guy was trying to stick up for you.
Yeah, he was kind of mean to him.
Because I ran out of time. They were like, no points. And he was like, not even a point for getting out the room. And he was like, a rule's a rule. 0. I was like, man.
Brutal.
And they were so mean when I made it. He was like, how did you manage to get it not even a single piece of watermelon onto there? He was like, at least try. He was like, come on, man, put your back into it a little bit. You're only going to get out of this what you put into it. At least try. Have some fun. Loosen up. I was like, wow, man. Do you know how hard it is to make a watermelon into that moving thing? That shit wasn't easy.
No.
But it's a fun game. I'm excited to do episode 2.
Yep.
So for me, it was pretty fun. I imagine for a Taskmaster fan, it's probably really good.
Well, especially if they've seen, like, for all we know, they've done these tasks before on TV. So I don't know if these are made for VR tasks or if these are actually taken from the show.
Mm-hmm. That's actually a good question.
Yeah, and I'm quite positive we'll find out within 24 hours.
I wonder how hands-on those hosts were with the development of this game. Besides, if they just read ad reads, or if they were
voice, right?
I wonder if it was just the extent of going the ad reads, or if they were involved with the developers of like, nah, this isn't authentic. This is how they,
Usually hosts, unless they're producing the show, don't have that kind of pull.
And
they're just
usually
a voice.
not. But I'm curious. So we'll do one more, then I'll give a shout out to our Patreon peeps. But then this one came through direct access with Fast Travel Games. We got to check out Black Forge, their next published title that's out now. And it's a blacksmithing simulator. I'm probably like an hour and a half in or so.
About the same. Yeah, we're at the same spot.
We had this thing happen where like we took our Quest headsets with us to Sweden and UK, but we only played a little bit and it was Demio and Mother Gunship. So we came back to just a plethora of things we had to catch up on. So we didn't get to go as deep into each one as we wanted to. So we're a couple hours into Black Forge, but it's really fun right now. It's like they do a good job introducing the game to you through quests. You have this bulletin board where you grab an envelope, you put it in your blacksmithing area, and it displays the quest. And then when you're done, you turn it into a mailbox. And they have a really cool method of shaving down the wood. So you have this like endless wooden supply with various different kind of woods, but you only start with one wood. You pull it out, you chop it to the length you want with your axe. Then you take it over to this spinny thing.
It's called a lathe.
You take it over to the lathe, thank you. And then you take the chisel and you shape it to however you want. You get to make it your own artistic vision. And it's so easy to go from too thick to too thin with it, especially in one little spot. And you know me, if they want a hammer and they ask for a sturdy one, I don't want to give one with like a thin upper part that I know I'm like, oh, that's going to break in a couple hits. If I ordered that, I would be pissed that showed up. So then I got to go grab another piece of wood, stick it in the lathe and restart. So, be careful. It goes from thick to thin very fast. But I like that. It makes like that artistic feel, you got to be careful. You got to be smooth with your lathing. So then after that, it's like if they just wanted a stick, you'd be done. But that's not the case in most times. Let's say they want a hammer. So then you take that, you take another piece of wood to the length that you think would be a good like mallet head size. You cut it, you shape it in the lathe, and then you go over to this anvil. You put them together, and then you hold the hammer above your head till lightning strikes it like you're freaking Thor. You come down, you strike it, and it puts it together. So it's pretty cool. So we're at the point where we're both getting sent to mines to get some copper ore. I think we're both at the same spot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, I guess we'll talk some more about it next week. But so far, for what it is, a nice little cute blacksmithing simulator, I'm having a good time with it. So shout out to Fast Travel Games for continuing to find the gems on their publishing wing. So again, huge shout out to our Patreon peeps on our on-air shout out tier. We have Amelia, Asim, we have Michael Wentworth Bell, Aspire Mike, baby. We got T Peasy, we got Jake, Carson, Earth Witness, Crispy, and Shoes, who we mentioned before, setting a flame with their Max Mustard discount code finding and posting. So that's our Patreon people that are on our on-air shout-out tier. You can find the link for that in our show notes, our episode description. Thank you all that continue to support us each and every month on our Patreon, even if you're not on the on-air shout-out tier. And also just thank you to everybody that tunes in and listens to us ramble about VR and, I guess in this episode, our life a little bit each and every week. You can also find the link for our Discord server in our show notes. Again, our episode description, what this episode's about. At our Discord server, we have a bunch of great VR discussion, game meetups, food discussion, book clubs. Our mod team, King Canuck, Amelia, Shoes, they all crush it. Shoes runs some giveaways. Amelia does awesome with the game meetups and such like that. So you can find the link for that in our show notes. And if you're feeling ever so generous, you can even, like I said, join our Patreon. We have a couple different tiers besides the on-air shout-out. One gives you even just access to a exclusive chat room in our Discord server. Technically, all of them come with that, but, cool stuff. So go check that out. Become a supporter of the show. If you like this show as well, subscribe, rate us 5 stars, all that news. So it's been a long one, so I'll try to go through the rest a little bit faster, but this one's a big one. Blade and Sorcery, one of the biggest games in VR. I mean, it's been the case since we started the podcast. I mean, they had a big Reddit server and Discord server back when that wasn't even a thing, So Blade and Sorcery, always popular, both on the Quest with their Nomad standalone version and their PCVR version. It's always just been a sandbox kill simulator, like you always say, brings out the real best in you. Yeah. I saw some good sides of you sticking the people through the spikes on the wall and each and individual little limbs. I think you got a little bit more dark than I did, but I played it the other week and I got real smash heavy too. So I don't know. I can't speak, but they're finally coming out with their full release, or they've come out with their full release on PCVR, which brings their long-anticipated Crystal Hunt game mode, which brings actual progression in the game with stat progression, skill trees, lore. You can loot in the dungeons and the runs that you do. You can sell them and buy items in a market. You can, like I said, loot, choose your upgrades, a whole bunch of stuff. And with skill trees, you can't just be a master of everything. I mean, you really have to specialize your character in magic or this type of weapon. So it creates the possibility for different runs too, where you're like, well, last time I was an archer. Now this time I want to be a warrior. This time I want to be a mage. So huge props to Blade and Sorcery. That's out now on the PC VR version. And corresponding with that release, it bumps the price from $20 to $30. Right now, the Quest version, Blade and Sorcery Nomad, still $20. Doesn't have Crystal Hunt yet, but this update is coming soon, later this year. So, I mean, the issue with people have always had with Blade and Sorcery, a lot of people love it, but some people go, dude, it's just a sandbox. There's nothing to it. It's not a game. You see the trailer that they posted for this? that's a freaking game. That's a full-fledged, like, I don't know. I'm going to have a lot of fun with it. I'm excited. I'll check it out on PCVR, but I'm really excited for the Nomad version to drop, later this year. So huge props to Warp Fraud for dropping Blade and Sorcery. And then also VR Chat, unfortunately, this one's a little bit negative. VR Chat, they had to lay off 30% of their team, they announced last week, which to me felt like a delayed pandemic hiring layoffs. You know how there was a bunch of like overhiring in the pandemic, and then, the last year or so, a bunch of companies have responded with layoffs to kind of bring their team back to more realistic sizes. I have a feeling that this is just a case of that too, where VR Chat probably grew a lot during the pandemic and stuff, where everybody was inside and probably delayed as long as they could, reducing their team. I know that they've taken on a lot of investing and such like that. So there reaches a point where it's time to pay back money, and you might not always have it either. So always unfortunate to see, though. They did lay off their team with severance packages and healthcare and assistance and job relocating and stuff like that. So best of luck to all the team that left there, but hopefully that's not a sign of more bad things to come. Hopefully VR Chat remains. We've already seen a couple of these things go away, like All Space.
I mean, I have no dog in the hunt with VR Chat. I mean, I'll say that right off the bat. I've never been like that's why I got VR. It always just sucks when
layoffs
see people
happen.
get laid off.
Yeah.
Without knowing the scope of details as to why, maybe the machine is oiled enough and you don't need this particular amount of people anymore to keep it running. So in order to keep it running, they got to go to bare bones, just keep it functionable and moving. If it's, for financial loss or whatever the case, then that's probably not a good sign. But I would think that VR Chat users are still rather abundant. So,
yeah, if any of them if VR Chat can't survive, it's going to be a tough world for any of them, I think, because VR Chat's the biggest.
yeah.
I mean, that's like a...
But again, if it's because they've got it to a point where they want it and they just need to maintain, then I kind of understand that.
And then besides VR Chat, we also saw an upcoming trailer for a game called Slap Fighter VR. They announced that that's coming Q1 of 2025. And their trailer just shows a bunch of characters. I mean, it's called Slap Fighter VR. If it's like a Path of the Warrior type game where you walk around and slap people, that's one thing. I get the feeling it's going to be like a slap fighting game, right? Isn't that the vibe you got with it? I mean, it's called Slap Fighter, and all the trailers, all the characters, they have their hands open. Like, there's a lot of alluding to slapping. So I hope it's like a beat 'em up, walk around, slap people up game. That'll be silly and fun, right? I really don't want to sit here and play a slap fighting game. But let's see.
No, drunken bar fight would slap.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I don't know. I'm curious about
The
it.
trailer did not give me enough to go on other than the emphasis on the hands.
It was a character reveal trailer.
Yeah.
But you got to give me some gameplay because I don't know what I'm looking at.
Characters.
Man, whatever happened to that bare knuckle game? Remember when that was shown like a year ago? That was too good to be true.
Yeah.
And I haven't heard a peep about it since.
Not a word.
I'm not saying anything. That wasn't even on my list to talk about. I'm just
not a word.
I think about it with the slap fighting. And then we also saw Thrasher, which is developed by a developer Puddle and published by Creature, who we know through Douglas Northcook, that we talked to, at this point, maybe almost a year ago, probably like 6 months, 7 months. I'll have to go back and check the date. But Creature's like a publishing and label, which they like to call themselves, which supplies support and networking and connections to kind of smaller games that really don't have that at their disposal, and marketing help and support in a bunch of different various ways. But they announced that Thrasher is coming to Quest and Apple Vision Pro July 25th, and then with a PC VR and flat screen release coming later. And we watched the trailer for Thrasher. I wish I could describe to you exactly what it is. They call it like a VR arcade game. It looked pretty trippy. There was like these circles, and I know you were blowing stuff up. You fight bosses. I remember we finished the trailer. I was like, did you understand what exactly we were looking at? You go, not a damn clue. So I don't know what's going on with this one, but it looks potentially good.
I really don't know what to say without trying it. It's weird. It looks very weird.
Yeah, to say the least.
A lot of hand motions for control, but I don't understand how I'm going to... I just didn't understand how the controls are going to work based on what I saw. And I still don't know what I saw. I saw something. I just don't really know how it's all going to work. Like, what am I avoiding? What do I need to hit? So I think they're going to bring their own to the table, which excites me because I like when something new kind of comes like, ooh, didn't think of something working like that. And I think that might be the case with this one.
Yeah. Let's see.
But definitely trippy.
I trust the studios. Like, I trust Creature. I trust it's going to be a good game. I just don't know how to describe it. Besides trippy arcade game, I guess.
Yeah, definitely trippy.
Yeah, but I'm curious about it. It's coming soon, July 25th.
Audio, and they even emphasize like the audio and visual aspect of it.
They threw the word visceral in there at some
Visceral.
point. Then that got squeezed in there. You laughed at that one.
Yeah.
Hey, when that's being described,
Visceral.
Let's see. But it could be exactly, kind of what you allude to. We play it and it's like, oh my goodness, a must play.
Because I'm thinking they're going to bring something of their own to this.
So I'm excited for it. And then quick on this one, Apple Vision Pro, they're soon launching in 8 countries, which is cool. Before it was only available in the United States. Now it's coming to the UK, Canada, Germany, France, Australia, Japan, Singapore, and the real big one, China as well. A market that Meta has been unable to get into yet, but Apple can leverage their existing ability to get smartphones out, That's the benefit that Apple has, is just these strong supply chains worldwide. That really the only reason that Apple Vision Pro isn't available worldwide is because they haven't flipped the switch to have it yet. But they have this supply chains for it down. The launch in China is pretty big. There was some talk that they had to double their reservation time slots available to try it in the Apple Vision Pros or in the Apple stores in China because all the demos were filling up.
I could easily see Chinese sales of the Apple Vision Pro
trumping the U.S. sales. 100%. Me too. Me too.
I mean, just the sheer amount of the amount of millionaires that exist per day in China is it's freaking crazy. And it's like there are a lot of people who do have the disposable income that'd be like, yeah, of course I fucking want it.
And the demo slots are booking up like they're filling fast. They had to add more.
So it's going to be real neat to see a year down the road how those sales compare. But I would expect them to do far better in China than the U.S.
I'm very much pro Meta in everything, but Apple being in the Chinese market and Meta not is a wild card factor.
Yeah.
That's a huge market. There. And they're established. They're a no name. That's huge. We'll see how that... I think that you're correct. I think when the dust settles, the best sales for the Vision Pro are going to come out of the Chinese market.
Yep. And they'll probably be the ones that set the real trend of how to really use it in the workplace and convert it into everyday life. So there'll be some shit to learn down the road, I believe. But we'll see.
Huge props to Apple on that one. That's a big one, and hopefully that gives Meta a little kick in the behind that. But the thing is, you gotta play ball with the CCP to get there, and Apple made that decision a long time ago, and Meta is never. So you also gotta applaud Meta on that one, right? But they're going to at some point.
Don't some of their parts for their headset come from there, anyways?
Yeah.
So you're doing,
yeah.
When you're in the tech world, unless you're making all your parts in the country that you're in, and that's why Apple, it's like, come on.
They made that decision a long time ago. Like I said,
20 years ago they were making the parts.
They did that deal. They made that moral decision decades ago. They're like, we'll sell in China. No problem.
You can't go, well, you're good enough to make my parts, but I'm not going to conform to, or I don't want to have to sell you my shit. It's like, dude, you're already doing business there.
Yeah.
Well, it's not too much of a stretch to sell the product there. Do I sound crazy, or it's like,
no, but
you can't take a hard stance of like, I'm not doing business with.
It seems like everything Apple does kind of pushes Meta a little bit. So I think that them being in the Chinese market, I don't think that that's a wild card that Meta is going to want to leave open.
Not long term, no. Short term, I could, I get the Dragon.
We'll see the first quarterly report, see if it was worth it or not. But then, also cool news, I know you're a fan, Power Wash Sim VR. They announced their next DLC coming for an Alice in Wonderland DLC.
Speaking of trippy.
It's gonna be $8, very fairly priced.
Yeah, they're doing all right with the DLC prices.
No exact release date, but it's coming this summer, so that's real cool. And then Pistol Whip, a game that, even... Geez, we're out there talking with Proper D. So he loved Pistol Whip. Everybody we talked to loves Pistol Whip.
Mm-hmm.
A couple weeks ago, we talked about that they would be putting out 3 new scenes, 3 new maps over the next month. And their second one came out already. So that's cool to see. And their third one's coming out June 20th. So this week. So stay tuned for that. And then we also saw this one I'm hyped for. We watched the trailer for, dude. You were like, oh, this is the one. Exocars. It's a new VR racing game. It's coming to the Quest, Pico, and PSVR 2 later this year. So pretty hyped for that one.
I'm liking.
I got to pull up the actual release date because I just don't think I made note of it. I think there is a release date available. Give me one moment. You can keep going too.
Oh. I actually, for all the slack and criticism that Grid Legends took, I actually feel that they really opened the eye, though, to other studios to be like, racing games can work, because the overall mechanics of Grid Legends worked really well. And now I'm starting to see this small gate of racing games coming in. And this one's cool because it's on dirt, too, so you can drift really good, I'm sure.
I'll give you credit, too, because you were never the dude that hated on Grid Legends. Like,
No.
yeah, you laughed at the graphics a little like everyone, but
And even their improvement, I think their graphic improvement made it worse. So I never fucked with the settings after that one time. I was like, eh.
you were always of the crew. If anything, you were just more complimentary of
Dude, I
the
came
actual
from
game mechanics of it.
good racing games when I grew up was Pole Position
Mm-hmm.
in the arcade. And I'm telling you, it's a terrible game. But that's about as good as you got for racing games. The Atari 2600 version of Pole Position was even fucking worse. But you were happy to have it because it was a racing game.
Oh, dude, remember that Downtown Club racing game that we saw a couple weeks ago, too?
Yeah.
That one launched on App Lab.
It did.
That's out.
It's from what I'm hearing, it's doing pretty good.
We haven't checked it out yet. I
Yeah.
just saw that on the list, too. I just figured that's worth mentioning, too. That one looks real good.
Yeah, I'm liking the influx of racing games because they can work in VR and you can get a really good. And I like multiplayer racing games.
It really doesn't have to be. Oh, dude, V-Rider came out, too.
Yeah,
A lot of good games came out in our hiatus, in our absence.
V-Rider's another one. They brought their own to the. Really, to me, the first in the Quest market to drop a motorcycle game like that. But wait until we get motocross, dude. Hitting the jumps on your freaking your motorcycle.
I can't find it.
It's gonna be fucking insane.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Man.
Monster makes a good. I think it's Monster, or they're the sponsor for the game, anyways.
All right,
Makes a great BMX. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, August Exocars is coming out. August isn't bad.
No, like 2 months away.
So we have Downtown Club Racing, Exocars, V-Rider. Dude, the racing genre is finally filling out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a slow leak, but the potential is wait until NASCAR does theirs. Get some dragster ones. It's gonna be fucking good.
Yeah, I like that each little subgenre, like you're saying, is getting hit.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
someone's got to be the first, and you might as well get on it now.
And then also while we were gone too, Silent Slayer came out. You can check look, boom, Silent Slayer shirts. Gee.
Yeah, baby.
We forgot to put up the
I didn't want it to fall on Reg.
yeah, that's
the
good,
only
good
reason.
thinking. That was cool when you did that the other week too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Silent Slayer, love it. One of my recent favorites that's come out. So definitely check Silent Slayer from Shell Games. And then also in the list of news, All On Board, remember them when they were doing their Kickstarter campaign? Bunch of licensed board games coming out, as well as a board game
Sounds
creator.
forever ago.
Yeah. Well, they reassured that they will come out in 2024.
Okay.
So
That's not bad.
It's not like news, but just that reassurance.
It's only they got half the year to go.
You saw your response to it. You're like, people are, I think, starting to lose faith that it was coming. So I think that was an important reassurance to do.
Call that pulling a GTA.
Yeah. And then
that's what it's known as now.
So I'm super hyped for that one. And then while we were gone too, we also got a new Batman VR trailer.
Yeah.
For the Summer Game Fest.
So much hype for that one.
That one wasn't too much of a gameplay trailer. It was like a story trailer.
They got a lot riding on that game being good.
Yeah.
Like it's because it's reaching the hype level of like, it better be the greatest fucking game ever, you know. And so I just want it to be good. As long as they've met good, I'm happy.
I still think you're correct too. I still think you're right that they're going to rotate out what game comes for free with the headset.
It would make the most sense.
I need to remember what was the episode that you first said that, because I want to clip it, because I think you're freaking right, man.
It was a while ago.
And that they'll just constantly rotate it with their next in-house title, their big one.
Why wouldn't you?
It's just, dude, how many headsets do you think you can sell with Batman?
A lot, dude.
Come on.
Especially if they drop, they could even get the more money out of you for the superhero franchise. Like, imagine if they had sold an Iron Man custom freaking headset to go with the Iron Man game in a package deal. You know how many of those they would have sold?
Mm-hmm.
People pay more to have an Iron Man mask than they do for headsets. So imagine having the Batman headset.
And the voice acting in the trailer and shit was good. So let's see. I'm hyped for that one.
There's a lot riding on it. I got faith they're going to pull it off, but it's like as these games get a little more hypey, I think the expectation from the consumer goes up as well.
Luckily, they have camouflage that really delivered with Iron Man VR. So
yeah, no, I have full faith. It's going to be good.
If Iron Man VR is any indication, I'm going to feel like freaking Batman while I'm playing. So I'm hyped. And then Arcade Paradise added their first new update, which adds VR avatar customization and new in-house original music to the game too.
Yay.
So cool stuff from Arcade Legend. I had on my notes the Max Mustard, but that came up organically just talking about shoes. Again, that was wicked cool to see them hit #1 top selling spot. I also should say that Silent Slayer, $19.99. It's out now on the Quest.
Which is definitely worth. I mean, we said that when we played it before, and you played it at PAX. You just knew it was going to be a good game.
Yeah, $19.99 is very fairly priced. It's only out now on the Quest.
Not as easy as you folks would think either.
The first couple vampires are.
Oh yeah, they just because they're feeding you, feeding you junk food,
and then it gets hard, like all games.
Then it gets a little more serious.
But despite being only out on the Quest now, it is coming to Steam VR later this year as well too. So stay tuned for that. But if you're on the Quest, definitely check out Silent Slayer. And then Green Hell VR, they reassured, just like GTA, just like all on board reassuring. Green Hell VR, they said yes, co-op is still coming in Q4 2024. So I'm excited for that. That's going to be huge.
I wish they had been sooner with it.
They've been teasing it for like almost 2 years.
They had a window where had they been able, and I get it, it's not the easiest thing to pull off. They're probably basically rewriting the whole game. But had they been able to within like 2 or 3 months, holy crap, people would have been all over it.
That's my fear with Medieval Dynasty too, as well, because we know it's from the same crew of people. They're like a spin-off studio from Incuvo. I hope they don't make the same mistake of waiting too long on co-op on that one.
So I know you and I will jump back into it.
But I agree. The window was that first 6 months.
Correct.
That was the time.
It was hot, It was like
easy for me to say too. I get that.
No, that's why.
But you're correct.
It takes a long time to pull these things off, and you can't not release the game because you want to hold off until you're closer to your multiplayer.
No, you're absolutely right.
I get how it works.
So I'm excited to see it, but I agree that window was that first 6 months. But maybe we're wrong. Maybe it lights the industry on fire. Let's see. And then Nope Challenge released a roadmap as well. So if you're a fan of Nope Challenge, go check out what's coming soon on their newly posted roadmap. And then speaking of roadmaps too, Drop Dead the Cabin from Soul Assembly, they also announced some updates to their existing roadmap as well. So go check that out. I also want to give a huge shout out to Soul Assembly because Ubisoft showed off a new trailer for Just Dance VR, which is going to be coming to the MetaQuest in October 15th. It's going to have 25 what they call top hits. You can extrapolate from that whatever you want. They listed some of them, not all of them I would say were top hits, but what that has to do with Soul Assembly, it was announced Soul Assembly is involved in the development of it. I love that.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, the makers are dropped at the cabin. Just cool people. We talked with somebody from the team, their creative director. He was a wicked cool guy.
Yeah, I was going to say, they got that VR passion that is undeniable when you hear him talk.
Everybody that I've ever interacted with from the team, they're just cool people. On their social media, they're always posting like their office, I guess, not celebration, but like things, they get a bunch of cupcakes and like, it's probably the most pastry heavy game studio I've seen post pictures on social media. Just a cool team though. Cool bunch. So Just Dance VR is going to be a big title in my opinion. That's huge. And to be partnered with Ubisoft with it. So congrats to Soul Assembly there. And then Genotype, a great little story-based VR game with a very unique combat system. They announced that they have a free demo out on the store now. So if you're curious about Genotype, you haven't bought it yet, now you can play a little bit for free before you make your decision. Cool stuff. And then Meta also announced that they're selling refurbished Quest 3s for $450, which, everybody's different. For me, if I'm not buying that shit used, it's going to take a little bit bigger of a discount for me to not get it new, if I'm not getting it new, you got to sell it to me cheaper than $50 less for me to buy it used, but the option now exists. So refurbished Quest 3s are available for Meta for $450. I'd still just say pay the little extra and get it new. Extra. Maybe the people sent it back. Maybe it's a refurbished unit, not because the people didn't want a Quest 3. Maybe because they needed a new headset. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. There's something wrong with that thing,
Well, usually electronically they go through it to make sure everything's clean.
I'm sure it works.
The way that you could really get it is to offer it a refurbished with an extra 1-year warranty on it that you don't get with the new headset. So if you get a 1-year warranty, parts and everything on the new one, but you could get a 2-year warranty on a refurbished, then I would say the refurbished is not a bad deal.
Yeah.
But I don't think it works that way.
But the option exists now, though.
Yeah. No, if you need to save a little money, you're on the fence, or you're just like, hey, my budget is exactly this, then now they got you.
And then TrackCraft, they announced that they now have a new full VR mode, so it's not only mixed reality, only you can go into full immersive VR. So then last piece of news, we're going through these last ones quick. Sorry about that, but hey, it's been a long one. Among Us VR from Shell Games. Love them. They announced their next limited time event. They've been doing these limited time events that they're serious about. They will end. Their next one's called Dumb Justice. And it brings a new vigilante character that in the description says it fits in with the crewmates, but it can also kill people. And it brings a new limited time, like I said, Dumb Justice game mode. That sounds really freaking cool.
I just wish they'd keep all these game modes active. Mm-hmm. I get what they're doing, though. Bastards.
Yeah, they're teasing you with the good stuff.
Yeah, but the ones they're releasing for short time plays are all good ones. So this is just already, on paper, this is a great one. As if you don't think people are suspect enough. Now you got to worry about them being vigilantes.
I agree with you. I do
and not even knowing that they were the vigilante.
I do hope at the end of this, of all of these timed ones, that they bring them all back as selectable custom game modes. Oh yeah, and then also part of this game mode, the roles aren't revealed if you get ejected. So at no point in it does anybody know if the person. It sounds like you're
yeah, that's what I was saying. You don't even know.
It sounds like, usually you vote the wrong person out. It'll say nope, that person wasn't an imposter. It doesn't sound like that'll be said, right?
That's the way I read it.
Dude.
You're just never going to know.
Dude.
And I think any one of you can be the vigilante.
Yeah.
So.
Intense stuff. So huge props to Shell Games for keeping Among Us VR constantly fresh. And they added new gloves and stuff too, a new DLC, new cosmetics.
I don't think it's slowed down since they came out.
No, and
since release,
they're still putting out new games like Silent Slayer too. So check that out.
Silent Slayer's good
as well. So check that out. So huge props to all the studios involved in our news episode today that we've mentioned. But I guess again, big shout out to Scott, Mava, Proper D, the whole Combat Waffle team, Beyond Frames, yep. Jim, Callum, everybody that made that in real life Ghosts of Tabor event possible. I'm turning into a pickle. We've been doing this episode almost 2 hours. A lot of traveling these past couple days, so I apologize if I've started to blabber like an idiot. I feel like I rushed through The Patreon shout out. I just want to say I appreciate all of you Patreon people, even if it feels like I didn't give you enough love today. Don't feel that way. We love you. Appreciate you. You can join the list of our Patreon crew as well by visiting the link in our show notes, episode description. Don't forget, subscribe, rate us 5 stars, smash that like button, all that stuff. Anything else you want to say in closing before we wrap this baby up?
No, I can't wait for our next adventure.
Yeah, hopefully that was the first of many. The travel life?
Dude, I'd fucking do that for a living.
Yeah.
You kidding me?
Oh, man. Wouldn't it be a real shame if you had to spend a summer in Stockholm?
No, please don't make me do that.
No.
Whatever. I'm not going to say how great it is there. I don't want people going there in drones.
Too funny. So great stuff.
There's no secret.
Thanks for dealing with us a little tired on this episode. Like I said, a lot of travel. Right back at it with interviews. 2 great ones coming later this week. And I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. Ciao, ciao.
Take care.